amigos de Diario El Salvador, soy Kevin Rivera, periodista Bitcoin de Diario El Salvador. Y bueno, hoy tenemos un invitado especial en nuestra redacción. Tenemos a Mike Germano, es el presidente de Bitcoin Magazine y bueno, uno de los más reconocidos bitcoiners alrededor del mundo. Así que vamos a hablar un poco sobre su perspectiva acerca de El Salvador y otros proyectos que tienen como compañía. Así que welcome to El Salvador, Mike. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you're coming for the inauguration, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so great. A lot of people hear about Bitcoin Magazine, a lot of people see your publications and all the things you've been doing. But I want to start this interview. Could you tell me more about yourself and your Bitcoin experience?
Sure.
Your experience in the Bitcoin space. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, thank you for inviting me to come here to speak. Happy with anyone who wants to discuss Bitcoin. We're very excited about it at Bitcoin Magazine. That's all we talk about.
Yeah.
We started in 2012, so we started telling people, informing people about Bitcoin when it was $8. So in the early days when everyone was obviously doubting it a lot more. My Bitcoin journey, I'm proud that I serve as the president of Bitcoin Magazine. I have a background in tech and media. Always fell in love with Bitcoin early on, but it took you a long time to get how important it really was.
Okay.
And especially being in the US where we are very fortunate we have access to a stable financial system. You don't really understand the true value until banks start closing and hyperinflation.
You organized the Bitcoin conference.
Yep.
When El Salvador, President Bukele said that it's going to become Bitcoin as a legal tender. So, and you also wrote recently that you feel safe and you feel inspired by El Salvador.
Yeah.
So, what are your perspectives about this decision that the President Bukele made, and also what the things are happening in El Salvador right now?
Yeah. So once again, we held the Bitcoin conference, and it was a pretty landmark moment in 2021. Half the places were shut down for COVID, but we had, our conference. We said, you don't even need a vaccine, passport. We said, you come if you want to believe in freedom. We had this big conference. It was one of the biggest conferences of the year in 2021. And, President Jack Mallers get up there, made the announcement, then on video, President Bukele came up, made the announcement, and the place erupted. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever been around. So thank you for your president, for your country for making the announcement. But then it was about following up on it, not just saying something.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I flew down for the first time to El Salvador to talk with the administration about what was about that, and went to Bitcoin Beach and really got to experience El Salvador. And I've been back numerous times. My family just vacationed here. I never would have done that before. But even when I brought my young family here, not only did I've always felt safe when I've been here, but people are excited. People feel this passion that they're onto something, that they're building, and there's hope and there's promise, and that's contagious. There's nothing else like that. But I want to say that, especially for people in El Salvador, what is Bitcoin really about, and was this the right move by the president?
Yeah.
I think the biggest, most important thing is Bitcoiners, and obviously we educate people on it, we connect the community. Every Bitcoiner I know knows about El Salvador. Every Bitcoiner I know has a favorable excitement about what El Salvador is doing. They all want to come here. So just from a marketing, perspective, brilliant. And this wasn't digital currencies and crypto, right? Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's
Bitcoin
it. That's the brand, right?
Yeah.
That's the brand that and that has such an unbelievable global community that now, and the smartest thing is, now that whole global community, because El Salvador is the first, they're invested in El Salvador's success. I'm invested in El Salvador's success. I would have never said that 2 years ago. I'm a New Yorker. Obviously, we have some friends from El Salvador, but now we want to see them do well. We're going out of our way to make sure things happen positive in El Salvador. We think of this as, our brothers in arms, and our Bitcoin battle. And so I think it was Bukele, not just adopting Bitcoin, he adopted Bitcoiners, right? And so El Salvador feels like a safe and happy home for Bitcoiners. We all want to come here. We all want to believe in it. We all want to help.
Great. And also, I'd like to ask you, do you think El Salvador's economy is going to I don't know, increase over the time with this decision? I mean, regarding this decision, do you think that Bitcoin is going to have some impact? I mean, it's It's getting an impact right now, but do you know, Cathy Wood, for example, said that El Salvador GDP is going to increase tenfold, right? So with this decision, so do you agree with that?
Well, I think, obviously I agree that Bitcoin is going to do well, or, I obviously believe in it. I wouldn't have be working at this company or dedicating my life to, educate people about Bitcoin. But in terms of, is it a smart economic decision for El Salvador? One, Bitcoin companies want to set up here. That means new high-tech jobs and innovation. You also have people who are willing to move here. I've seen a lot of people that are willing to move now here because they feel that you'll have positive laws for people's their own personal finance when it comes to Bitcoin. So economically, I think you're going to have influx of people who want to move here, investing in the region. So I think that's important.
Yeah, so we're seeing in the US that companies or banks like JP Morgan is buying Bitcoin through the ETF. And also we are seeing candidates for presidential candidates like Donald Trump saying they are going to build some Bitcoin policies.
Yep.
So what is happening in the US? What is happening in the world? I mean.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
You want to know what's really happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So just like Bitcoin early adopters, gradually then suddenly, people knew about Bitcoin 10 years ago and everyone thought, let's not listen to them. What is it? The Independent Party, the Libertarians started liking Bitcoin, right? And they said, of course the Libertarians will like Bitcoin, but the Republicans and Democrats not so much. We get one Republican senator like Lummis, whose son was into Bitcoin, and she talked about it with him. Okay, so now you've got one senator, right? Then we have some people running for office who don't really have a shot. And what ended up happening was Biden has been the worst thing for Bitcoin of any president and any administration.
Yeah.
The Democrats have no idea what they're talking about. And look, I'm a former Democrat elected official, right? They're completely out of touch and they have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to Bitcoin. They've been disastrous for it. They put disastrous policies. That's why companies are moving out of the US, because of the disastrous policies by the Biden administration. You might not even know what's going on.
Yeah.
But then what ended up happening was Trump. Then we met with Trump. We met with Trump and we started talking about what we think about Bitcoin. Our CEO had a great meeting with him, and he understands not only digital assets, if you will. He understands,
the difference.
He understands real estate. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's made a couple announcements and realized that Bitcoin is a voting bloc, right? We have an issue at Bitcoin Magazine called the Orange Party. It's not about being Republican or Democrat. We're a single issue voter. There's millions of us, right? And so you could either pass all the laws against Bitcoiners to take away people's personal freedom, and we're not going to vote for you, or Donald Trump is going to say, hey, you have a right to run a node, you have a right to have a wallet, you have a right to your property, and on top of it, free Ross Ulbricht, which is something that we all care about very much so. He's speaking Bitcoiners' language. So we're happy that we've been talking to his campaign. We plan on helping inform any candidate that wants to learn about Bitcoin. We've always done that. We're just fortunate right now it's the front runner for the US president and the leader of the free world. So if we do our small part and help him become a Bitcoiner, I think that's great for everybody.
Do you think in some way US is going to follow the adoption of Bitcoin or something like that, like El Salvador did, or something like that?
Everyone wants me to say yes, but I don't think that's the point. El Salvador is very unique. You have to already use another government's currency, right?
Yeah.
So, why don't you use a global currency? It makes sense for what El Salvador did. I don't want every country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, to be honest with you. I want them not to try to ban Bitcoin, try to make life harder and overtax people, Bitcoiners, but Bitcoin doesn't need countries, right? El Salvador is unique. It was the first. It's now a home. It's a mecca that you can come to, especially Bitcoin Beach. You go there and, seeing it in work is something so beautiful. But we don't need, other governments and countries to have to adopt Bitcoin.
Great. So, this is all my question. This is this was a great chat. I mean, thank you again
Absolutely.
for being here and giving all your thoughts to us. Thank you again, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Pueden seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales y vamos a estar contando más historias sobre Bitcoin.